Imagine being sentenced to a life of strict punishment for a tragedy you didn't cause and, barely even understand.
Oh, wow. That is a heavy start.
Right. And every time you try to find a sliver of joy or purpose, society changes the rules to make sure you stay miserable.
It sounds like a total psychological nightmare.
It really does. What
Yeah.
would you do? Would you break down or would you rebel?
I mean, that kind of pressure, it forces a person to figure out exactly what they are made of,
Yeah.
when all the pleasantries of life are just stripped away.
Exactly. And honestly, welcome to our deep dive for the Simplified Summary YouTube channel. We are so thrilled to have you here with us.
We really are.
Yeah, and hey, if you want to keep getting these rich, shortcut summaries of incredible literature, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share your valuable comments down below. We'd really love to hear what you think of today's story.
Definitely let us know in the comments.
Because today's specific focus is unpacking Munshi Premchand's really powerful Hindi story, Nirasha Lila.
Which translates to the play of despair.
Right, The Play of Despair. It's from the Manasarovar Part 3 collection, and we're going to examine how a golden cage turns into a psychological prison.
And how total hopelessness can ignite the most shocking kind of rebellion.
Yeah. But before we get into the weeds, we should clarify our mission here. We are exploring Premchand's specific critique of 1930s Indian societal and patriarchal norms.
Right, exactly. We aren't here to endorse or take sides on the historical or political viewpoints of the text. We just want to impartially report on the content and analyze how the author uses these intensely strict social codes to construct the narrative.
Perfect. So let's set the stage. We are introduced to Pandit Hridainath and his wife, Yogeshwari. They live in Ayodhya.
And materially speaking, they have it made. They are comfortable, they own property, and they are a highly respected family in their community.
But Hridainath has this fatal flaw. He views society as a terrifying ghost.
That's the exact phrase, yeah, a terrifying ghost.
He is completely obsessed with what people think, like zero internal locus of control. His entire reality is dictated by this invisible audience.
He's totally paralyzed by the fear of public opinion. In his mind, the social fabric is so delicate that if you cross boundaries even slightly, you invite total destruction.
Which brings us to the catalyst of the whole story.
Yeah.
They have an only child, a daughter named Kailash Kumari,
Right.
and she is widowed so incredibly young. The text specifies she was widowed before her Ghana.
Which, for anyone who might not know, the Ghana is the ceremony that happens years after a childhood wedding. It's the moment a bride officially moves into her husband's home.
Right, so she hasn't even done that yet. She is a bride in name only.
Exactly.
She is so young that she literally doesn't understand what marriage is, let alone widowhood. When she gets the news, she doesn't cry because she simply doesn't grasp the loss.
She's just an innocent child who wants to play.
Yeah. And because she is just an innocent child, completely unfazed by this tragedy, her parents initially try to protect her from the dark reality of her new status.
And we have to remember how brutal that reality was supposed to be. According to the strict norms of that era, a widow was expected to instantly transform into a lifelong figure of mourning.
Shaved head.
Shaved head, wearing only coarse clothes, eating plain, unspiced food, dedicating her entire existence to puja and prayers, basically erasing her own individuality.
But her parents look at her, and she's just a kid looking for her toys, so they actively try to distract her to keep her from feeling sorrow.
They build this elaborate bubble. It's actually a very happy life inside their house.
It's wild to visualize. They bring her a gramophone. Hridainath shows her these visual scenes of Kashmir. They take her on evening walks in the park.
They even go boating on the Ganges.
Yeah, boating. And Yogeshwari invites her female friends over to play cards and sing. It's like throwing a continuous birthday party for a child to distract them from a scraped knee.
That is a great analogy.
Except in this case, society thinks the child should be in excruciating pain.
Right.
Yeah.
Society demands that pain. Seeing a widow, even a child, enjoy life, laugh, and wear nice things is considered a scandalous taboo.
Which is just so twisted, right? The neighborhood is like a societal immune system, and her happiness is this foreign body that needs to be attacked.
And that is exactly where the conflict starts. The neighbors start whispering.
Yeah.
Because the private happiness of the family is offensive to them.
So the bubble bursts. Societal gossip finally breaches the walls of their home, forcing the parents to change their strategy.
It happens during a visit from the neighborhood women. They come over to visit Yogeshwari, and they use these sharp, sarcastic taunts.
They start complaining about their own endless household chores, right?
Yes, all the cooking and cleaning, while pointedly looking at Yogeshwari and her daughter, who are shamelessly enjoying a life of leisure.
It's horizontal hostility. These women are exhausted by their own patriarchal burdens, so they police Kailash Kumari like, we are miserable, so you don't get a free pass.
Exactly. Misery aggressively demands company.
And when Hridainath hears about this gossip, his fear of society kicks into overdrive. He immediately agrees the entertainment must stop. The gramophone, the boating, it all has to end.
He surrenders completely.
Yeah.
But, they still want to keep her busy, so they find a compromise. They open a small girls' school right inside their home.
Because teaching is seen as respectable, right?
Yes, it's a respectable way to keep her occupied without looking like she's having fun.
And she actually loves teaching, but then she starts going out to other houses to teach, sometimes staying away for days.
Which is a huge problem for the community.
Okay, I have to jump in here because this is so frustrating. Why doesn't Hridainath just stand up for his daughter? I mean, is his spine made of jelly?
It really feels that way to a modern reader, doesn't it?
Totally. Just tell the neighbors to mind their own business.
Well, to understand his cowardice, we really have to look at the immense, suffocating power of social conformity in this specific era. It wasn't just about nasty rumors.
What was the actual threat then?
Total social and economic annihilation. Excommunication. The local priests would refuse to perform ceremonies for your family. You couldn't arrange marriages for your other relatives.
Oh, wow. So it affects the whole extended family.
Exactly. Even essential service providers, like the washermen, would boycott your home. Social isolation basically equaled death.
So because society complains she's getting too independent, he caves again. He shuts the school down completely.
He shuts it down.
So she's deprived of her entertainment and now her vocation. She has nowhere to turn but inward.
Because the secular world is completely closed to her. So she seeks agency in the spiritual world.
She goes through this intense religious phase. She dives into reading the Puranas, the Upanishads, and Vedanta.
And these are very dense, complex philosophical texts.
Yeah.
She becomes incredibly knowledgeable.
So knowledgeable that she argues with visiting scholars and leaves them absolutely speechless. I love that detail.
It's brilliant. She bathes multiple times a day, she serves sadhus, and she completely distances herself from worldly attachments. She is basically out-pietying the pious.
Right. She finds a loophole. If society wants her to be a devoted widow, she's going to become the ultimate, untouchable religious scholar. But then she reaches a breaking point.
She decides she wants to become a sannyasin, a renunciate.
She wants to leave the home and dedicate her life entirely to God. And this is where the incredible hypocrisy of this whole system just slaps you in the face.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because her parents absolutely panic.
Right. They wanted her to be religious to appease the neighbors, but they didn't want her to actually leave. They need her as their only support in their old age.
They want the performance of piety, but only when it's convenient for them. And society's reaction is just as bad.
Let me guess, they mock her again.
They do. They say, well, this is what happens when you give girls too much freedom. She is intellectually dominating their scholars, and they just laugh at her.
She literally cannot win. And there's this heartbreaking plea she makes to her father. She says, if you fear a bad name so much, give me poison. What does society want from me? Am I not a living being? I cannot just sit in a corner eating a piece of bread and pretending to be wretched.
That line, am I not a living being? It just cuts right to the core of the story. She is demanding basic humanity in a system that wants her to be a ghost.
And realizing that society will never be satisfied and that she's entirely trapped by this patriarchal system, her religious fervor just curdles.
It completely sours. She realizes the game is rigged, so she stops playing by their rules.
It turns into deep cynicism and active rebellion. She begins to actively hate this male-dominated society. She sees women's dependence on men as cruel.
She even changes how she views marriage itself. She stops seeing it as a holy union.
Yeah, she calls it a hunt where innocent girls are sacrificed to hunters' dogs, which is such a brutal, visceral metaphor.
It is. She now views the entire system as fundamentally illegitimate, so she decides to intentionally spite society and her parents' fears.
She turns her physical appearance into a weapon. To intentionally spite them, she breaks all the rules of widowhood.
After years of strict mourning, she starts using a comb and a mirror again.
She wears a colorful silk sari. She puts a vibrant rose in her hair. I mean, she is actively choosing chaos in the best way possible.
She even stops her ekadashi fasting. She knows exactly the kind of social destruction this will cause for her father, and that is precisely the point.
Which brings us to the climax of the story during the festival of Teej.
And Teej is a highly significant festival where women fast for the welfare and long life of their husbands, the huge cultural duty.
But she flat out refuses to participate. Her mother is horrified and says it's her duty to her dead husband's soul.
And Kailash Kumari's response is just legendary.
She fires back, "Do men fast for women? I only care about my soul."
That is such a radical rejection of the asymmetrical burden placed on women. She is claiming total ownership of her own soul.
And Hridainath is just watching all this. He sees her in the bright silk with the rose, openly defying the gods and the neighbors. And this is where the title Nirasha Lila finally makes sense.
He observes her behavior and he genuinely wonders, is this an awakening of self-respect? Or is this the terrifying play of ultimate despair?
The play of despair. Let's unpack that. What does that actually mean in this context?
It means that when a person is pushed into total hopelessness, when they are stripped of all agency, they lose all fear of public shame. They lose all moral bounds.
Because why respect the rules of a society that has already condemned you?
Exactly. Her rebellion is magnificent, but it's born from the fact that she has been entirely broken. It's the fearless, chaotic dance of someone with literally nothing left to lose.
Wow, that is chilling. And it leads right into the dark, abrupt ending of the text.
It is a very unsettling ending.
Hridainath turns to his wife, completely consumed by the terror of the disgrace their daughter is bringing them, and he tells her that there is only one solution left to avoid the shame.
But he says, I cannot bring myself to say it.
And that's it. It just ends there.
It is a deliberate, unresolved cliffhanger. Premchand leaves us with that deeply sinister implication.
It's horrifying to think about what he means, which actually leaves us with a really provocative question to ponder.
Yes. It makes you wonder, when a society demands impossible, suffocating perfection for its most vulnerable people, does it actually create the very rebellion and shamelessness it fears the most?
That is such a profound thought to end on. Does the demand for perfection create the chaos? I want to throw that question right back to you listening. What do you think Hridainath's unspoken solution was? Let us know your theories in the comments.
We'd love to read them.
And remember, if you loved this deep dive into Premchand's brilliant psychological storytelling, please subscribe to the Simplified Summary channel, drop a like, and share your thoughts. It really helps us keep bringing these incredible stories directly to you.
Thank you so much for joining the conversation today.
Yes, thank you for being here with us. Take care, everyone.